Okay, so the story I'm about to tell today is a wild one for a lot of reasons you'll soon learn. Yeah, this is crazy. I hope you all enjoy it. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy it. Also, if you haven't checked out my new song, it's called Backseat. It just came out a few weeks ago. Go check that out. It's pretty good. It's doing really well, by the way. Everyone that has been listening to it, thank you. It is doing so good. I appreciate that so much. Y'all are the best. But anyway, yeah, enough of my self-promo. I'm done with that. Let's get into the crazy story today. Yeah. So today's story time all takes place back in the year 2018. Now, it was the end of 2018. 2019 was just about to start. I had just moved back to my hometown in New York, and life was going pretty good. I had my own apartment. Can't really complain. I had my new apartment in New York. I was doing good, right? Life was good. Now, around this time, I was dating somebody, okay? I was dating this girl. Things were going pretty good, right? Nothing too wild. Didn't really have a lot of problems. This isn't one of those stories where I, end up talking about how the relationship crashed and burned and got cheated on and, she slashed my tires or something. It's nothing crazy, right? But this girl I was dating, she was about a year older than me. She was in college, and instead of living like in the dorms, she decided to just stay at home with her parents and live there. And yeah, life was going pretty good for her too at this time. Now, we're about 1 month into our relationship, right? And one night she hits me up and says, "Hey, tomorrow I want you to sleep over." And I was like, "Are your parents going to be okay with that? Like me sleeping at their house with you?" And she was like, "Yeah, they don't care. As long as you're not like a super rude guest or anything, it's no big deal." And I was like, "Okay, sure. I'm down then." She was okay, cool. Come over tomorrow at like 8. I'm like, "Bet, sounds good." Now, I had never met her parents before. I had never met her family. All I knew is that she lived with her mom and her dad and her 2 older brothers. So that's all I knew, right? Now, fast forward to the next day, I packed up my stuff, threw it in a bag, went over to her house. I met her parents. They were really, really cool. I met one of her brothers. The other brother was apparently upstairs because he had the flu and he was sick. So I guess I wasn't going to be meeting him that day. But I met the one brother and he was really cool. And yeah, the night started off very nice, right? Now, after we had dinner and we hung out for a while, me, her parents, her brother, her parents ended up going to sleep. They went to bed pretty early most nights, so they were in bed, and it was just me, her, and her brother, and then eventually he went to sleep, and me and her went up to her room, closed the door, laid down, started watching some Netflix, right? Now, before some serial gooner weirdo runs to the comments and is like, "Oh, I know what you did." No, we didn't. I'm being dead ass. We didn't. We laid down, we threw on a movie. We were both so tired. She passed out first, like 5 minutes into the movie, and 10 minutes later, I fell asleep. And I woke up about 45 to an hour later, towards the end of the movie, because the movie was blaring loud. I turned it down. I also turned on the brightness on the TV because I was super, super bright. And I had to pee really bad. I was like, all right, let me creep out of bed. Let me, quietly get out of bed without waking her up. And let me go down the hallway and pee before I go back to bed. So I get up out of her bed. I start walking towards the door, and I hear my girlfriend wake up. And she goes, "Where are you going?" And I turn around, and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. I have to pee really bad, so I'm going to go pee, and then I'll come back." And she goes, "Okay, do you know where the bathroom is?" I was like, "Yeah, it's at the end of the hallway, right?" She goes, "Yeah, all the way down, very left." I'm like, "All right, thank you. Good night." And I turn around, and I open her bedroom door, and I walk out in the hallway. I close the door behind me, the bedroom door. I start walking down the hallway, and as I'm walking down the hallway, there's a silhouette of a person down the hallway walking towards me in the opposite direction. And I was like, "What the fuck? Someone's out here." And as they get closer, I realize it's somebody I've never seen before. It's not the brother I met earlier. It's not one of the parents. So I assume it's the brother that had the flu. He kind of looked like he had the flu. He had like watery eyes. He looked like he was sweating. He was wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt. It looked like he just rolled out of bed. So I assumed, okay, that's her brother that has the flu, one of her older brothers. Not surprised, right? And we walk by each other. And as we're passing by each other in the hallway and he's going towards the stairs and I'm going towards the bathroom, I nod my head towards him and I'm like, "What's up, man?" And he goes, "What's up, man?" And I was like, "I'm Austin. I didn't get to meet you earlier because you have the flu, but just want to say hi." And he goes, "Yeah, man, nice to meet you." And he keeps walking and he goes down the stairs. After that, I went into the bathroom, did my business, washed my hands, left the bathroom, walked down the hallway, went back into my girlfriend's room, closed the door, went under the covers, and fell asleep. The rest of that night, I slept so good. I did not wake up for anything else like the TV or the brightness of the TV. Nothing woke me up until the next morning. So at about 9:30 in the morning, I wake up to the sound of multiple voices downstairs very loudly freaking out about something. And I could tell off rip It was her parents and my girlfriend. Because when I woke up, I was in the bed alone. I could hear her voice downstairs. So I get up and I go downstairs. I walk down the stairs and I see her parents standing there. She's standing there. Her brother's off to the side. And there's this other dude off to the side who I have not seen before. And as I listened to everybody talking, I realized very quickly that they're talking about my girlfriend's house getting broken into last night. And I was like, what the fuck? When did that happen? And her dad's like, yeah, last night at around 2 a.m., this guy was on the camera coming through a window. And this morning when we woke up, there was stuff broken down here. There was stuff missing. He must have robbed us. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, did you hear anything? Did you see anything? And I was like, no, not really. And as I'm talking to her dad, this dude comes up to me, this dude I haven't seen before, puts his hand out, shakes my hand, and he goes, hey man, I'm Eric. I didn't get to meet you yesterday. I had the flu. And immediately my mind like almost explodes, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Who the fuck did I meet yesterday? Like literally I met someone in the hallway in the middle of the night. I thought it was my girlfriend's older brother, but now I'm meeting that older brother and it's not the same guy. So I look over at the dad, right? My girlfriend's dad. And I was like, hey, I think I met the home intruder yesterday. And like everybody's like, what? And I was like, yeah, last night when I went to the bathroom in the middle of the night, there was this guy coming down the hallway. He was heading the opposite way of me towards the stairs. I was heading towards the bathroom. And when we crossed paths, I basically said, nice to meet you. And, you know, kind of had some small talk with him because I literally thought it was one of the older siblings here. I didn't know it was some random guy, but now I'm learning that it was just some random guy. And immediately my girlfriend's dad's like, come here. So he brings me into the computer room where they have like the cameras set up and he plays me the security footage of this dude coming into the house. And it's fucking him. It's the guy that I met in the middle of the night and fucking talked to for a quick second. My dumbass was so oblivious and so tired and just so like, oh, it's just, you know, probably your brother. I fucking spoke to a dude that was actively robbing my girlfriend's house and I had no idea. So naturally, I'm like dumbfounded, right? I'm like, what the fuck? And my girlfriend's dad, he thinks it's kind of funny. He's like, I can't believe this right now. Like, what a great first night here. Like, I can't believe this is your first experience at our home. And he's laughing about it. And I was like, yeah, me neither. Like, what the hell? And then he kind of gets a little bit serious and he's like, you know, it's a really good thing that he wasn't like violent or, you know, like attacking you. Because, you know, he had a point. Sometimes these home intruders, like they'll come in and if they find out someone's in the house with them and they're awake, they might just like beat you up or worse. So like I got really lucky this guy was a peaceful intruder, you know? Like maybe if I didn't say hi to him and like, you know, say nice to meet you or some shit, he would have just like beat me up. Anyway, after this, the police pulled up. They had called the cops and they like showed them the footage and stuff and gave them the whole rundown. And they started looking for the dude. And after this, for the next like probably 2 to 3 weeks, we didn't hear anything about it. My girlfriend didn't hear anything. Her parents didn't hear anything. They didn't catch the guy. We honestly thought it was over. We thought that dude just got away. We thought that it was cooked and that we just like, you know, we're never going to see that guy again. You know, he's just gone, right? And that sucked because he stole a lot of shit. That dude stole some really expensive jewelry from my girlfriend's mom. She had this like really nice framed photo of her grandmother downstairs. And on that framed photo was like a couple necklaces that belonged to her grandmother that were on the photo. And yeah, that dude stole both of them. On top of that, he stole like some tools from the garage that belonged to her dad. He stole an old PC. He got away with quite a bit of shit. Quite a bit. And the weirdest thing was he was on foot. So he had like a pillowcase full of stuff. And then he also had this giant PC in his other hand and tools. Like it was pretty wild to me that he got away carrying all that stuff. And it's wild he didn't wake everybody up in the house. Like he was literally going up and down the upstairs hallway and the upstairs area. He didn't go into anybody's rooms or anything, but it's still crazy he just didn't wake anybody up with all the shit he was carrying around. Like I really thought he would have dropped something, you know what I mean? Like with all that stuff he was carrying, but I don't know. He must have just been really good with carrying stuff. I don't know. But yeah, he got away and for weeks, no one heard anything. Until about 3 weeks in, the cops called my girlfriend's parents. And guess what? They fucking found the dude. Not only did they find the dude, but they found out that he was connected to a shit ton of other robberies. And he had a lot of warrants for his arrest for other things as well. So that dude went away for a very long time. And you know what else is insane? They got the stuff back that he stole. I really couldn't believe that in like 3 weeks, he didn't pawn all of that shit off and sell it. They found it like in a storage unit with a bunch of other stolen shit. And yeah, they were able to give all of it back to my girlfriend's parents and like it all made it back home safely. Which leads me to my next point. Make sure you have pictures of your valuables, because when the cops came and they were asking about stuff that got stolen, my girlfriend's mom had pictures of those necklaces that got stolen and showed the cops, and that helped them like identify them when they were in that storage unit and stuff. But yeah, she got her necklaces back. The dad got the tools back and the other stuff that went missing, the PC. All in all, they really got lucky. And so did I. The fact that I crossed paths with this dude and I didn't think for a second that it might have just been some random guy in the home is crazy to me. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up too bad about it, because like literally I don't think it was that far-fetched to think, hey, that's probably just the brother that has the flu. But let me tell you, in the future, like from now on, if I ever see anybody in one of my friends' houses and I think it could be someone that's harmless, I'm not going to take that chance. I'm just going to be like, yo, that might be an intruder, and just call the fucking cops. So yeah, after this, I spent the night over there many more times, and nothing else like that happened ever again. So, you know, that's good. That's really good. However, you want to hear something crazy? Their house got robbed again, like 3 months later when I wasn't there. So that's pretty insane. Like in the same like year span, like 12-month span, their house got robbed twice. It wasn't the same dude, obviously, because that dude was in jail, the original dude. But yeah, they got robbed again. This time it went a little bit differently because they had a new security system. So the dude just like got in the house and that shit went off in like a minute and he ran out with like nothing basically. So that's good. He didn't really get away with anything. But yeah, I just felt so bad for my girlfriend's family and her. Like in the same 12-month span, 2 break-ins happened basically. And that's insane. And she literally lived in like a great area. Like that shit would rarely happen there. But yeah, that leads me to the moral of this story. And the moral of the story is lock your doors, invest in a good security system if you can get one. And please, if you ever see anybody strolling around your house in the middle of the night, I don't care how nice they are, get somewhere safe and call the police immediately. Don't be like my dumbass and be like, oh, maybe it's just some dude that's like, you know, my girlfriend's brother. Like, yeah, don't do that. Anyway, guys, that's the story. Pretty crazy one. It's a little bit short. I'm sorry if you wanted a longer video today, but I think it's a good story regardless. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.